First and foremost, we want to thank the men and women who have served our military. We thank you for the sacrifices that you have made. With that said, being that this is a military-inspired watch that we're reviewing today, we're actually going to be doing a giveaway for a veteran at the end of this video, and I'll put the information in the description below on how to enter that giveaway. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into this video.
This broadcast is brought to you by West. Here is CBS News correspondent Mike Wallace.
Con is here, 2 miles south of the demilitarized zone at the narrow top of South Vietnam, 12 miles inland from the South China Sea. It is a desolate hilltop collection of guns and bunkers looking north across the DMZ into North Vietnam. Its crucial importance lies in the fact that it's on a main infiltration route into the south. The loss of Con Thien could help open the way for the estimated 35,000 communist troops now massed in the DMZ area.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, as I alluded earlier, this watch was sent in by Praesidus as a, well, I wouldn't say it's a sponsorship per se of the video, but I did not have to pay for this watch and I do not have to send it back. Therefore, I've chosen to take this watch and at the end of the video, give it away to a veteran, someone who served our country, and yeah, maybe, you know, it brings a little bit of nostalgia back and maybe they'll get to enjoy it as much as I hope that they will. Without further ado, so just a little history about Praesidus as a brand, right? So their biggest focus was obviously to make American-made watches, and then also heavily inspired by the military watches that were issued back in the 1960s and even dating back to World War II. One of the things about Praesidus as well that, you know, drew my attention to them is that they actually donate 5% of each sale to a partner organization that is for veterans. Another interesting fact, Praesidus actually teamed up with a gentleman by the name of Tom, who had lost his original A11 in war. And they teamed up with him in order to redesign a modern version of that watch and then also help him find his original watch. So I think that's a piece of history that really adds value to the brand and you know, what they represent and what they're doing over there. So you know, it's certainly something worth mentioning prior to the review to this watch. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and just jump right into the specs and discuss this watch. All right, jumping right into the specs. So this is a 34mm case size. It's certainly going to be ideal for smaller wrists, or if you're just looking for that vintage style on the wrist. It is a push-pull crown, so it is not a screw-down crown. That is going to contribute to the 50 meters of water resistance that this watch has. Turning this watch around, you can take a look at the drilled lugs here, which is going to give you that ease of removal and install of different straps. And I think that's an ideal feature to have with a field watch. Now, also, as far as the finish of this case, it is a sandblasted stainless steel case. And I think, you know, it definitely goes hand in hand with what a field watch should have, right? In terms of its durability and, you know, what you're going to do with this on a day-to-day. Now, looking at the back, right, you have this press back. It's not a screw down back. Again, this is also going to contribute to that 50 meters of water resistant. I do love the way they kind of stamped in the logo in the back, the amount of units that were made, and then obviously Swiss movement with the made in the US stamp in the back as well. Now, as we turn it around, you can kind of take a look here and see that blue AR coating that they have applied to this sapphire infused crystal. Take that with a grain of salt in terms of that sapphire infused crystal. You know, I think it's a marketing gimmick, but again, you know, these companies have to do what they have to do in order to sell these watches. It doesn't take away from the fact that this watch has a couple of areas here that will certainly be a highlight. Now, talking about highlights, you have this strap that has the quick release spring bars. Love that they did that. I love the feel of the strap. It feels amazing. I just don't understand the leather back. That I have a concern for. I think over time that's going to deteriorate, maybe within months. Now, another thing too is this buckle. This buckle just does not match the case. The finish of it actually matches more the warranty card, which I think is a pretty unique warranty card. It's actually a dog tag, and then it has a laser engraved QR code that you can scan for the warranty information. And then also, if you look at the tip of that warranty tag, it has like a bullet hole on it. All right, now that we covered the specs, let's talk about what does that really translate into day-to-day usage, right? So a 34 millimeter watch on a wrist size of like mine, as you can see here, it's almost comical, but I'll be honest with you, it grew on me over time. As I wore the watch, I noticed how comfortable it was. I noticed how lightweight it was. It was very easy to forget you were wearing the watch. Right. It's also a good looking timepiece. I wish I had a macro lens to give you guys a better understanding of what this dial looks like. It has almost like a leather texture to it. And then also these raised indices really give this dial some dimension. It gives it some depth. You can even see at an angle the shadows that are coming off of the raised numeral indices on the dial. Also, in addition to that, I think the hands were paired very nicely with it contrasts nicely with the color of the dial, the 24-hour markers, as you can see, and then the lume plops on every hour marker as well. All right, I want to talk about this Ronda quartz movement, this 763 caliber. I had high expectations being that it is a Swiss caliber. Um, Yeah, I've seen better from Miyota. As we take a look at the right side of this dial, the second hand just misses every single marker. It falls right in between every single second. And then on the left side of the dial, it's hitting every marker. The last review that I did, which was, I believe, the Pro Master Diver, and I'll go ahead and put that in the video here in case you want to go back and watch that one. But that movement was very accurate at hitting every single marker. And of course, Citizen being owned by or Citizen owning Miyota. Um, I just think we have this thing about Swiss made movements and it being the pinnacle of watchmaking, when the reality is the Japanese has something to say about that. And I think I've seen quality from the Japanese market that rivals that of the Swiss. And I think the Swiss has really just gained that popularity because the bigger brands obviously are based out of Switzerland, and those watches are boasting these Swiss made calibers. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is my review of the Desert Field 34 millimeter by Praesidus. I hope I'm saying that right. I feel like I'm not. But anyways, again, I want to give them a big thanks for sending this watch over to the channel. I hope to continue to do some work with them. I love what the brand represents. But anyways, without further ado, as promised in the beginning of the video, I was going to give the information on the giveaway for this watch. Prerequisites to qualify: must be active or former military personnel. I'm not going to ask for any documentations to prove that. Just a picture of you deployed would suffice. And I think it'd also be nice as well to have a little story behind the individual who's going to win this watch. In order to enter this contest, you must put a like on the video, subscribe, turn on the notification, drop a comment below, and then head on over to watchlife_reviews on Instagram. Send me a message with that picture of you deployed and a little brief description about yourself. And then I will be announcing the winner of this watch next Sunday. So today is currently the 12th of January. Let's take a look here. So that's going to be on the 11th of January is when we will be announcing. I'm sorry. The 18th of January is when we are going to be announcing the winner of the watch. Once again, guys, I want to thank you for tuning in for another review on Watch Life Reviews. If you haven't already subscribed, go on ahead and do so. Drop a like, comment, and turn the notifications on so you are notified as new videos come out. Till the next one.